Now, welcome back to the Mike and Tyler Sports Podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
All right, here's the lineup for today. What are we starting off with, Mike?
We're starting up with the NBA trade deadline that happened yesterday. So a lot of big moves going on. There's a lot of big trades going on, like Marc Gasol going to the Raptors. We had Nikola Mirotic going to the Bucks. Avery Bradley going to the Grizzlies. We had a lot of great trades. Harrison Barnes and Markieff Morris moving, even though the Pelicans released him. All right, so with that, which deal do you think was the best?
I don't mind the Mavericks trade that they made.
Yeah.
They did get who was the big player that they just got before the deadline? They got Porzingis, Doncic, and now they're even stacking up with another player. They have Dirk there too. It's a good four to start with, and they got some talent and depth on that team. I think I'd like that the best. The Raptors, I think that they did upgrade, but still, sending Valanciunas back, he's still a little bit younger, I believe, than Gasol, correct? So it might be a sideways move, but for a better player who's older, maybe not as much control. I'd have to go with Mavericks in my case. What about you?
I think the best deal was probably, well, I have two. Well, first one was the one that was made the day before the deadline, which was Tobias Harris going to the Clippers. I think that was, or to the to the 76ers, sorry, which I think was a good deal for both teams. It really just showed the two ways that the teams kind of want to win now. The Clippers definitely making it so they got all those draft picks, getting all those younger pieces, and with the 76ers getting Tobias Harris and the way that they got him, I don't like the trade for the 76ers more than I like it for the Clippers because you basically took out your whole entire bench to get him. So you have no bench unit, but that starting five is deadly.
Oh, yeah. Especially with Embiid, Simmons, I think Butler's there too.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else you got? That's a damn good top five. And didn't they push, who did they push to like the brink last year in Game 7? Was it
Celtics.
the Celtics? I think they can overcome the Celtics this year, the way the Celtics are playing, especially.
Yeah, I think they lost in 6 to the Celtics or something.
Still with a young Ben Simmons, still
And
producing.
that was with Ben Simmons only scoring 1 point in one of the games.
Exactly. And Embiid's only going to get better from here.
And the other trade I think I like a lot is the Nikola Mirotic going to the Bucks. I think that's a very solid move for them. They needed that 3-point shooter who Antetokounmpo can kick it out to. Just another deadly shooter for them. They already have friggin' Bledsoe, Brogdon, Middleton, who shouldn't be an all-star. And I think they just have all these pieces that can shoot threes. Even Brook Lopez can shoot threes. Like, this team's going to be insane coming up here.
And I don't think there's no stopping Giannis this season at all.
All right, so who do you think the biggest winner is then?
You gotta go with the Bucks. They're in first place, and they added a good damn player, and they're just gonna keep progressing. I think as long as they don't have any injuries or setbacks from here on out, I'd go with the Bucks.
I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I gotta agree with you with that. The Bucks are probably the biggest winners here. I think the Raptors are also a pretty big winner. I think the Clippers are a huge winner as well. Also, basically stealing Zubac from friggin' the Lakers. That was an awful trade for the Lakers. Even though I love Mike Muscala, I don't think you should have gave up a young player like that. You should have just given up Beasley for him straight up. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, and who's the biggest loser?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly,
I have one off top.
Maybe the Lakers because they couldn't fucking pull that deal off for Anthony Davis. Although that might be a blessing in disguise for what they were willing to give up. Like, you were gonna give up almost all of your picks and prospects for Anthony Davis. What, you're gonna play with 2 people on the court? I get LeBron and him are studs, but you need a team.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think it is the Lakers. I think that the fact that they didn't make that huge move that they said they were going to make before the deadline is a little bit of a challenge for them. And especially letting Anthony Davis basically stay on the Pelicans for the rest of the year. I think that's the biggest issue this year for them. And I think the Pelicans are now going to look to Boston for their trade for Anthony Davis, which is only going to make the other side of the conference better.
Mm-hmm. And it'll counteract against the yeah. Fair enough.
Which I think the East is slowly getting better than people think they are.
Mm-hmm. I think the West is starting.
And speaking of the Eastern Conference, who do you think the front runner in the Eastern Conference is?
Is Milwaukee East or West?
East. So the East is like the Raptors.
Okay, definitely got to go with Milwaukee.
I think it's East.
Giannis has so much potential. The Greek Freak's been the best player this year, despite maybe other than Harden. But Harden's, I don't know, like you said, like last week's podcast, it doesn't look as impressive if you look into it. Giannis is carrying that team right now, and I think they're the front runner right now. They have the best record, I think, in the league, correct? And this year. This is Giannis's year. The Greek Freak's gonna go off and get a championship, I think.
I don't think it's gonna be this year for the Bucks. I think the Warriors are just so strong.
Again?
Yeah, they have the top 5 of 5 All-Stars basically.
Fair enough.
Like
I forgot they got Boogie back.
Yeah, so not to mention, as Boogie continues to come back, he's gonna start averaging 20 to 25 points a game, which is gonna be insane for them. But I think the front runner is still Toronto. I think their bench is just unbelievable.
Homer pick.
Their bench is unbelievable. They just brought in Marc Gasol, who I think is really going to space the floor for them and make another deadly option for Kyle Lowry passing the ball. I mean, it hurts to lose DeLon Wright, honestly, but I think at this stage you have Fred VanVleet already. You love Norman Powell. Like,
and
you might as well pick Norman Powell.
You didn't give up Siakam or who's that?
OG or even a first-round pick.
Or even a first round. Like a 2024 second, I give that up all day. That's 5 years from now. You never know what your team's going to look like by then. You could be selling off assets and maybe have a higher second-round pick at that point. Or even a late first.
I think the only thing that JV was better than Marc Gasol at was defensive rebounding. But it's what you have Ibaka for.
Exactly. And that starting five is going to be good. You got Kawhi, Lowry, Gasol, Ibaka. Who's the fifth guy missing? Danny Green.
But that's a big question though. Do you bring Ibaka off the bench or do you bring Siakam off the bench?
Whoever's playing better, I guess. I don't know.
That's the big question. Who is playing better? I think Ibaka should probably stay in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to move Siakam down. I think he's been playing super well, but I think he'll take it better than Ibaka
especially as a younger player. Ibaka's been there longer. And these players, they have a legit chance to go deep in the playoffs. They should run with this and just do whatever it takes. Be that team player that teams need to cooperate with.
But yeah, I can see this team going a long way. I think the only team that would be able to beat them is the Bucks. I think you got the top two right there. But I think Philly's too inexperienced. I don't think they have a good bench. So as soon as their bench players come on, it'll be crap. Like the examples the other game against the Raptors there, it was basically once Embiid came off the floor, the Raptors basically did whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they ran away with it, because Embiid came off the floor. Ben Simmons was turning it over like every second play. I don't want to put him on blast or anything, but basically every second play he's turning the ball over.
I wish he would shoot threes more.
He needs to focus on shooting.
He's a great driver, but you got to round out your game more.
And then finally we have second half predictions as well.
I want to say Golden State still struggles. I can't see Durant, Curry, Thompson, Green, and Boogie all having a downward trend. I think they're going to peak up right here in playoffs, and they might win it all. I hope some team comes and takes them out, but I don't know. Maybe LeBron.
My second half prediction is actually that the Lakers are not going to make playoffs at all.
Okay.
I think this team is so dysfunctional. The fact that LeBron sat away from the bench, like on the bench from their players during that blowout, was not very professional and not very leadership-wise. If your team is down by a lot, you got to be talking to them. You can't be sitting away from them. I realize that you might be trading them because it's before the deadline, but come on, LeBron. You know better than that.
Yeah.
And I think this team just doesn't have that talent who's been there before to do it. Like, they just traded Michael Beasley. Rondo hit that lucky-ass shot last night against his former team. Good on him. But it's just, realistically, they should not make the playoffs. I think a team even like the Clippers or the Pelicans could probably come back up as well.
Yeah, I guess they're playing Anthony Davis now after the deadline passed.
Even prefer the Kings over the Lakers.
Sacramento.
I love the
Really?
Kings. I love the Kings. I love
De'Aaron Fox.
I loved their pickup of Harrison Barnes. I think he's going to work pretty well there. And you didn't have to give up much. You basically gave up Justin Jackson for Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Because they freaking dropped Randolph, right? So I think that's a good trade for them. I love Buddy Hield, who, when he came into the draft, I didn't like him as much, but now that he's just basically taken over this team, I love him. Willie Cauley-Stein's an underrated player as well. And all this, and they're probably going to pick up somebody from waiver wire. Speaking of waiver wire, we have some waiver wire things going on too. Team players like Wesley Matthews, Ennis Cantor, Wayne Ellington, players like that who are going on waiver wire. Even Vince Carter might be going on waiver wire.
I would hope somebody picks him up and just takes him for a playoff run. Maybe the Raps give him the finish where he started.
Well, at the moment, the Raptors have 4 open roster spots.
Okay.
I can see them making a run for Ennis Cantor.
Yeah, I think any good team should pick him up on waivers real quick.
I think they should go for 3 players. Vince
3,
Carter.
okay.
Should go for Vince Carter, just because Vince Carter. Wayne Ellington, he can space the floor. He's actually going to hit threes, unlike CJ. Sorry, CJ, but yeah, you suck.
He's not here anymore anyways.
And finally, Ennis Cantor. I think you have to bring him up. Like, you don't really have a center without him because you traded Greg Monroe. So you might as well bring him in, bring him off the bench, have him do that role, actually give him minutes unlike the Knicks did, and actually, like, let them do what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. And that'll help with their team depth approach, I think.
I would say Wesley Matthews, but Wesley Matthews is already signed with the Pacers already.
Okay.
Other players I think they should look at, Robin Lopez. Even if they want to take a look at Melo, they could do that as well. I don't like getting Melo just because I think he's going to take away minutes from OG. And those kids need the playoff experience coming up and to prove that they can be big-time players and develop in something more than what they are. And then there's also Robin Lopez, who I like a lot, who I think could come in and be a solid rebounding center for us as a backup. But, yeah, that's just what I think. The Lakers should definitely pick up some players because I definitely think they need some. Giving up Zubac was a big mistake, I think, and I think they really need to bring up somebody like an Ennis Cantor who's offensively gifted at center and who can facilitate with LeBron and stuff like that. And that's what I think should happen. I think there's a lot that should happen, but probably won't happen. Then we can move on to the NHL.
Alrighty. What's the topic at hand?
So there's a team that's not doing so hot that Tyler likes a lot.
Alright, give me a second here.
And he's going to take over the mic for me.
This team this pathetic organization has made me become apathetic as a fan. I started watching hockey in 2006, so that playoff run that we went on, I was 8 years old, and that's also the year I first started playing hockey. Once that playoff run ended, I waited 11 freaking years to see the playoffs again. And just to see our team get we're getting destroyed this season for the most part, and the only reason we're still in a playoff spot or a playoff race is because the West has been so bad right now. This organization has been going in the wrong direction since we've drafted McDavid or even Nugent Hopkins or Hall and whatnot. We've been trending backwards while all these other teams are passing us, and in year 4 of McDavid, this is unacceptable. I think, I waited 11 years to see the playoffs. Man, I was from 8 to age 19. Through my whole teens, I did not see a freaking single playoff game. And the fact that Chiarelli screwed this team over that bad that I had to wait another 2 years is disgusting. And, this is what we're paying for the decisions we made because we didn't do our research or just went on a search for somebody that was right for the job. We just hired the most experienced guy we saw right away, and we didn't do a thorough search. And the way the organization does things is completely backwards, and this is going to take time to change. I don't think some fans have the patience for it anymore, and I'm certainly getting that way as well. I'm becoming an apathetic of this team because of the way that things have been run for so long. And I'm just sick of it. That night that they lost to Chicago 6-2 after being up 2-1 at the second intermission was brutal. I don't care how you put it. That was horrible. And honestly, I don't see us making the playoffs at all again this year. I think we're going to trend down. These contracts that we were hampered with, we can't get them off the book. I don't think anybody's taking Russell unless we give up a high prospector pick, who Nicholson has already said we're not trading. In the first place, why did you allow Australia to sign Koskinen to a 4.5, 3-year deal when he got fired the next day? And right now we're running Talbot because he's playing better right now, and Koskinen's been slipping away. Why make that decision to sign the goalie when they're both playing equally? And even Talbot's starting to go on a little bit of a run here. How do you make that wrong decision and also let the person that you fired make a decision like that a day or two before he gets released? Or even trade for Brandon Manning, per se, or who has also on the books next year for $2.25, fun fact, for Jerk Kajula, who has been 4 for 5th on our team in goal scoring that we desperately need right now on the wings. We picked up Petrovic for a third. He hasn't been in the lineup in like a week or two here, even with our bye week. Like, what was that? So we basically up a third-round pick for a rental that's not going to help us make the playoffs, and it's not in our current-day lineup where we have better players playing ahead of him. Why keep this guy employed this season, halfway through the season? There was no point. You're setting yourself back again. The cap space. We have Russell. I liked Russell, but not at 4.5, whatever he makes for 2 more years or whatnot. Lucic, these cap mistakes added up over time, and now we're paying for it. These contracts are going to be hard to move off the book these next year or two without moving some assets with them to entice teams to take them. And it's going to affect us pretty bad. It's going to be another year or two before we can physically call us a good Stanley Cup contender. We might make the playoffs because McDavid's McDavid. He's that skilled. He can drag us there, but he needs a supporting cast, and the supporting cast might be a year or two away. I don't know. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the way things are ran. Nicholson needs to pick his shit up and figure this out now and make sure it's right. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot more than fans. The owner, I don't even know what he's doing. He's just only concerned about making money at this point. He's not making any good managerial decisions and whatnot. I'm just fed up with this team, this organization right now. And if I don't know. That's all I got. I'm just sick of it. They need to improve everything and start doing this right. Because if we keep trending in this direction, I think we just wasted McDavid's prime, most of his career, and he's going to have a bad feeling for Edmonton, and that's not good.
All right. So with them not making the playoffs, we're going to go into the second wildcard spot. And who do you think is going to make that second wildcard spot?
Who's in there right now?
Well, we have both sides here. In the Eastern Conference, we have Boston, Pittsburgh, who are 3 points to 6 points up on teams like Carolina, Buffalo, Philadelphia, teams like that. And then in the West, we have just everybody. Everybody's involved, basically.
Yeah, essentially. I think St. Louis is going to make the wild card in the West. Since Jordan Binnington has gotten in there, he's been playing phenomenal. And that team was better than they were showing at the start. At January 1st, I'm pretty sure they were dead last. The fact that they crawled out of it with this goaltending that he's provided proves a lot. And that team's not as bad as they were. They have... I consider Joel Edmondson a top 4, top 3D. Parayko's really good and on a good contract. He's 6'4", right-handed shot. Petrangelo's your captain. And I think Vince Dunn's there. They got some good defensive pieces and good depth on forward. Tarasenko would be a first liner. I think Schen's a first liner at this point too. They got these pieces, and I hope they make it. I see Minnesota falling out, just due to losing Koivu for an ACL injury. Matt Dumba, you don't know if he's coming back with a torn pectoral. And the way that they lost to Edmonton yesterday, I don't know if they can still function like that over the rest of the season. I don't see Edmonton making the playoff push, but we have Connor McDavid. He's gone on a late season surge the last 2 years. He's already at 80 points. I can see him hitting over 100. If you can get the goal scoring support and maybe some goaltending and just the team playing better, maybe they can push. I don't think it's going to happen. Vancouver's in, I think, the second wildcard spot or just outside. They're losing people to injury. They're not playing as good as you would think. I think they'll drop out. Is Colorado in third in their division, or is that Dallas?
Colorado has 53 points and is on the outside looking in.
They're on the outside looking in, so Dallas is in third?
Dallas has 61 points.
I don't know about Colorado. They need to make a move for a second or third liner, I think. If they aspire to be in the playoffs, I think Dallas will be in there for sure. I think Ben and Sagan will turn it around. They've been getting goaltending and defense. At this point, I don't see LA. Chicago is out, in my opinion. I'm going with St. Louis and one of Dallas or Colorado, whoever's not in the third spot.
All right. So for me in the East, I don't really see anything changing. I think Pittsburgh and Boston are just too good of teams to really drop out. If anyone's going to do it, it's probably Buffalo, but Buffalo's been struggling.
And I'm not betting against Crosby at this point. He's going to give everything he has while he's 30 and above.
If I think anybody's going to drop out, I think it's probably going to be either Columbus or Montreal. If they're going to fall out, they're going to fall out. And in the West, I think St. Louis is going to move up into the first wildcard spot. And I think that Chicago, who's won 6 in a row,
oh, wow,
is going to continue to play well.
I don't see that lasting, though, just with their decor.
Yeah, but they don't need decor when they have their offense playing as well as it has been.
Offense can only take you so far, though. Especially with this season winding down here. Teams are going to start locking it down. They're preparing for playoffs. I just can't see it.
Yeah, but they really brought out the potential in Dylan Strome.
Oh, for sure. He's been playing unreal with DeBrincat, and now you can load up that top line with Kane and Taves. Kajula's no slouch playing with two really good players like he did with McDavid and Drysdale and Edmonton at times. That's a good top six, and they got some good depth forwards. Their defense is just old. I don't know from Keefe and Seabrook. They have Eric Gustafsson, who was an Oilers fourth rounder that we didn't sign. He's been playing well in the power play. That power play's hot.
Gustafsson is carrying that defense.
Oh, for sure. They have Connor Murphy. He's not bad. He's, I think, 25, 26. Good shutdown D-man. That's physical. I don't mind their defense. They're just old, and I don't think they'll carry. It's on their goaltending for me. I'm not sure who's in net. I think there's Ward and D'Elia, and Crawford's battling back. If Crawford can actually play this season, they might make a run. I don't see it happen. I think St. Louis is locked in with what they have like 2 or 3 games in hand on all these other teams, they're at first wild card or second wild card, whatever it is.
Second right now.
I see them in it. It's going to be a battle between. I think Minnesota's going to fall out. So that one Central team, I think Edmonton might still be there.
Edmonton is currently 4 games out of Minnesota.
4 games out or points out of Minnesota?
Like they're 4 points behind Minnesota, but St. Louis is 55. But like,
okay,
if we think St. Louis,
I think
continue,
it'll be a battle between Edmonton and Vancouver, and then one of Dallas or Colorado for that final spot. I think St. Louis gets one locked up.
Yeah, that's fair. I saw a stat though that Patrick Kane has 6 points in 14 games.
Yeah,
he's playing unreal.
I think actually like before that he had like 44 and 18 or something. He's been playing unreal, but like I said, I don't think offense can carry you that much in that at this point of the season. You need the full team. In the beginning of the season, you can mask your poor defense with goal scoring, but teams are starting to lock it down. Kane's an elite player. He'll probably continue that pace. I don't know about the rest of the team.
I like Jonathan Taves' way he's been playing this year too. I think he's finally rejuvenated after a couple
Sitting
years of
out
struggling.
Summer.
Sitting out the summer, he struggled last year mightily. Somehow still scored 20 goals to be fair, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, I think Taves and Kane are at the top of their game, and I think when they're on the top of their game, that team is going to be hard to beat.
I agree.
Those two are on the top of their game. Seabrook hasn't been playing bad lately. Duncan Keith hasn't been playing bad lately. Like, they have these players who have been there before, so I think that's why I think they'd be able to make that push. But, yeah, I agree with you. I think Minnesota's going to fall out. I think St. Louis is going to go up. And I think there's a better chance that maybe a Dallas will fall out.
You think so?
I know they're
Okay. So that would
They're
put
6
Colorado
points
or St. Louis into third, and you think there's going to be a second Central team, or do you think Pacific's going to get one?
I don't know. I think this Dallas team is just they've been carried by their goalies this whole time. I don't think it's going to last long.
Where's Arizona at?
Arizona is at the bottom with 51 points.
Oof. LA's ahead of them now?
No.
Oh,
They're at
okay.
50.
So I don't know if they'll push.
See, I think
Firepower.
Yeah, anyway, I think Ben Bishop is known for like cracking under pressure, like the Stanley Cup that 1 year.
Played that puck.
Yeah, he played that puck so great. Anyway, you kind of answered my question with the whole St. Louis finally playing to their potential.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
whoops.
That's really one of my topics. That's okay, because I changed it to the Ducks. The Ducks have won 2 games in the last
52 days.
52 days. They've won 2 games. What is going on with this team?
I don't know. Like, Gibson can only do so much. Like, their defense needs to pick it up. Hampus Lindholm, Josh Manson. Who else do they have? Cam Fowler. Maybe he's injured. I don't know. He's always injured for me. But that decor has got to step it up and play better in front of them. And then they need to score. Getzlaf, he can only do so much up there. Like, their prospects
Perry just came back.
Fuck Perry.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like him. Kessler's a piece of crap. They traded away Cogliano. Silverberg, I like. I don't think he stays there, even though that they're discussing a contract. Carlisle shouldn't be coaching this team. If they want to, like, they're getting old. They need to integrate their younger players if they're ready and start focusing on speed and whatnot. Getzlaf's still really good. But I don't think Randy Carlisle is the coach for this team at this point. And the fact that they've won 2 of 20, the players are probably tuning him out. They're probably looking at the standings. They're like, oh, we're done with this season. They're just trying to play it out now. I think Bob Murray has to do something, at least signify to the team that they're selling off assets, or fire the coach to rejuvenate them a bit, or just let them know what's going to happen, because they have to do something here. They can't just sit back and keep losing. Something's got to change. You already traded Cogliano. You might need to make a bigger trade on a bigger scale, like maybe dealing someone like a defenseman for a younger player of the same ilk or whatnot, or just fire the coach. Look at Dave. Not Dave. Ron Hextall. He refused to fire Dave Hextall in Philly and ended up getting canned himself. Who isn't to say that Brian Murray won't get canned if he doesn't fire Carlisle sooner or later? Owners don't have patience if they're losing out money, especially with the Ducks who can't fill their building regularly. Something's got to give if they want to make the playoffs or at least get some revenue in.
Yeah, the Ducks are definitely making John Gibson look really bad lately.
Oh, yeah.
He went from a .924 to a 918 or something in the last couple games here. Like, they're not helping him at all. It's not his fault for allowing all these goals at this point, because they're basically wide open net goals and easy shots to go in. I feel bad for him, man. He's an unbelievable goalie. He's still young. He can carry this team.
And the Ducks can develop prospects. They just need to go in that direction. Maybe take a year or two to get some more picks and players in here that can play with speed and tempo. I think with Carlisle's system, I think they're allowing a ton of shots. Yeah. They need to shore that up, play better defensively, and get some shots. They just cycle on the perimeter until they lose the puck. Get in the middle of the ice, shoot from the slot, get some high percentage chances. Your behind the net / perimeter style can only work so long. Getzlaf, it shouldn't just be contained to that style of play. He can move and he can protect the puck. Get inside the home plate, which would be the 2 dots going down and then into the crease. Get in the prime scoring areas and shoot. Enough with the outside play.
I think at this point, they need to make big deals here. I think they need to trade either Corey Perry or Ryan Getzlaf. I think Ryan Getzlaf is the one who should be.
I would keep Getzlaf, but if he can get you a better return, which I think you can, over Perry, maybe consider dealing. It has to be the right deal because he's their captain, and I think he can still play at a really high level. Perry's... he's going to be stuck there for a while, and that's a bad contract he's on. He's a shade of his former self. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bought out if his contract isn't done by the lockout, whenever that comes, or the impending lockout with the compliance buyout.
See, they don't have a good backup goaltending either. They have Chad Johnson in that, who hasn't been good since he kind of played good.
Ryan Miller?
They do, but I think he's injured at the moment.
Okay, well that's a problem too. They're relying too much on Gibson is mainly the point we're making there.
Speaking of goalies, Carter Hart for this Philadelphia Flyers team has been unbelievable as of late. I remember a couple weeks ago we talked about him being sent down, but I think at this point he's taken that starting job and ran with it.
Oh, I think he's going to keep it too. He's phenomenal, and he's 20 years old. This is Carey Price level of ascension. I think he's going to stay. He's going to play well. He's got so much skill, and I even had one person on PS4 tell me he thinks Hart's better than Price right now. I don't think that's the case.
Price is pretty good.
Yeah, Price is pretty good. I think Hart's going to be unreal. I would still choose Pedersen for the Rookie of the Year, though. What he's doing as a 19-year-old first-line center, putting up points, playing the way he has, I'd still choose Pedersen. Hart is phenomenal, though, and Philly's finally got a goalie and is showing. Their defense is good. Their forwards are good, even though they're a little bit in their prime, and then they got some young players. I think they're too far out to make a push to the playoffs, but they have a good future if they keep Hart up. Maybe surround him with a better backup goalie in next year's free agency. They're looking good now, and I love watching Hart play goalie.
I would not be surprised if he was in the running for the trophy.
I think he will be a finalist.
He will be a finalist for sure, but I don't see him winning at this point. I think Pedersen's just too good.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's not Pedersen, I think Dahlin is playing better than him as well.
Yeah.
I think it's been too far into the season for him to even come out. I think it's even too late for him to even get a consideration for it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's just going to be a two-way race between Dahlin and Pedersen. And Pedersen will ultimately win it.
I agree.
All right, so next we're going to do oh, come on. Predictions for the weekend, just because there's only one game tonight, so I thought I'd do the whole entire weekend.
Okay. Well, let's just do Friday, Saturday. I don't like Sundays.
What is Sunday? Sunday's not a bad slate, though.
All right, give me just the games, then I'll give you some predictions.
So tonight we have one game.
What is it?
And it's the Rangers versus the Hurricanes. Hurricanes coming off back-to-back. So are the Rangers.
Where is it being played?
In New York.
I'm assuming Lundqvist is starting.
I think Lundqvist played yesterday.
Check that first before I make my decision, because I don't like their backup goalie.
You don't like Gordon Gabriel? No, okay, never mind. They didn't play yesterday. Lundqvist is probably in net.
Okay, I'm choosing Rangers.
I'm gonna go with the Hurricanes in this situation.
Aho's been playing really well lately.
I think literally Carolina right now has Aho leading in all three stats: goals, assists, and points. It's all Aho. But I think Teravainen's turning it on right now. He's playing phenomenal lately. I think this team just has a lot of good offensive star power here. Niederreiter's been unbelievable since he's came here, there. And I think this team just isn't going to slow down anytime soon. I think they're just going to keep rolling. They're not going to make it to the playoffs, but if anyone's going to do it, I can see them doing it, especially with that new first line they have.
Yeah, I could agree with you there. I just think Lundqvist might pull one out of his ass this game. I also like Zibanejad and their top players. Their Zuccarello's been playing good of late.
Yeah.
It could go either way. I'll just pick the Rangers to be on the other side of that, just to battle you there. But I think the Canes might have a good shot too. It should be a close and entertaining game. I like the way the both teams play. They will play with speed and shoot a lot.
Okay, so tomorrow we have first game is going to be the Kings and the Bruins.
Bruins, I take their top line all day. Although Adrian Kempe has been on fire late, the Kings have been slowly climbing back up in that race, even though they're pretty much out of it. I go with the Bruins.
Their most points is Kopitar with 40.
I go with Bruins.
Sabres, Red Wings.
I'm going to go with the Wings. Buffalo's been struggling of late, you said earlier. I don't know. I like Jimmy Howard a little bit, and the Wings aren't, well, the record may show that they're bad, but they got some decent players. They can win on any given night if they show up.
I'm going to take the Sabres in this situation. I think they're going to be hungry after that loss last night. And I think that first line is just been kind of weird lately. They've been on and off. I love Sam Reinhart. I'm just going to say he's pretty spectacular. He's on my fantasy team. That's not biased at all. And I just think Skinner's going to score 2 goals in this game, quite frankly.
Think he's going to catch Ovi?
I think he's not going to catch Ovi. Ovi's too good.
You think Ovi's second? No, who's third in that goal scoring race, right?
Yeah.
Leon Draisaitl's tied for third.
Yeah, I know he's tied for third.
We're going to have 2 scorers with over 40 goals.
Just stop.
That's all I can look forward to, man.
Right,
Let me have it.
We have the Devils and the Wild next.
Devils and the Wild.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Devils.
I'm going to go with the Devils as well. Taylor Hall just needs to come back. Phil, God, please, just come back.
I think they're done for this season. I think they're gonna go with a high draft pick. They sold off Brian Boyle. I think they're. That's one thing I appreciate about Shero. He sees what position he's in this season, especially if his star hurt. He realizes he might. They're not rebuilding per se, but like sell off your assets while you can, while you're not making the playoffs this season. Get picks. Maybe even trade those picks if you need to for a player in the offseason. And like I can see Marcus Johansson getting traded as well for a second or maybe a third. He's been injury plagued, but he's damn good. I go with the Devils here though. I just don't like the other team that they're playing.
I like the Devils here too. I think this is probably the time of the year where Corey Schneider is bouncing back. He had a pretty nice game the other day, or last night, and I think he's gonna bounce back. I think he's been pretty shoddy all year. But I think this kind of next couple of games, he's going to show that he's still a starting goaltender in this league, and I think he's going to take over, in my opinion. So the next teams we have here are the Islanders and the Avalanche. I sometimes forget how good the Islanders are.
Yeah, they're first in their division. Barzal's been playing unreal. I just think the Trotz system wins, and it wins a lot.
Yeah.
And they got great goaltending right now. Who are they playing?
They're playing the Avalanche.
Avalanche have been sliding of late. Their top line can't really be carrying them the whole season. I go with the Islanders' depth approach and their goaltending.
I go with Islanders, and I go with Robin Leonard with a shutout.
Okay.
Sorry for jinxing you. But next, I have Ducks and Flyers.
Flyers. They were on a 7-game win streak and only had it halted in a shootout the other night, or was it last night? Whatever it was. They're gonna keep rolling. They have Hart in net. Anaheim can't figure out what the fuck they're doing right now, and I just hope they keep spiraling because fuck the Ducks. Kessler grabbed Talbot's pad. Fuck them. I hope they lose until they fire Carlisle, and then I feel bad.
Okay, so
fuck the Ducks.
I'm actually gonna go with the Ducks here.
Oh my!
I think that Gibson. No. I think Gibson's gonna carry them in this game. I think it's gonna be a 2-1 game. I think that somehow Getzlaf's gonna get a goal and an assist. I think they're going to find a way to win this game. I don't like the Ducks. I just think that they're probably going to win this game because the Flyers are probably not going to play Carter Hart.
Why did they play yesterday?
No.
Or are they playing tonight?
Nope.
You don't think they're playing Hart?
I think they're going to give him a break.
I actually agree there. Against Anaheim, who's won 2 of their last 20, maybe give their backup a shot there. Give Hart a little reset. I agree, but I don't think the Ducks can pull it off. They're just so bad right now.
All right, so next we have... Sorry, I pulled a thread out of my beard. Next we have the Blues and the Predators.
Gonna go with the Preds. They're top 2 team in the Central. They've been playing great all season. I don't see them. Maybe St. Louis and Bennington can push here, but the Preds are gonna show they're a contender, and they're looking to make a big splash at the trade deadline to pick up somebody like Duchesne, Stone, whoever it may be. They're going to be pushing. This is right around the time of the season. Whatever team gets hot around this point often goes deep in the playoffs. Like, look at Vegas last year. You could look at the year the Pens won it back-to-back. They got hot. They had a little so-so 500 start to the season, but right around that trade deadline is when you ramp it up and you carry that momentum into the playoffs and you do phenomenal. I think the Preds are going to be on the upswing here. This is going to be their major push because they have Ekholm either this year or next coming off his $2.5-3.5 million salary. Yeah. They got to make a push for that forward. They can probably re-sign him. I'm pretty sure they have like $20 million cap next year. They've set themselves up long term, but make that push this year. Get that forward. If Johansson goes down to help with depth and just basically set them up for a long run because it's going to be them versus Winnipeg in that second round. We already know that, barring Nathan McKinnon or somebody going off. But like they need to beat Winnipeg if they want to go deep. They have to make a push. They have to make a splash, and they're going to be starting that now. Especially since Winnipeg's been playing like a little bit crap late. Especially Laine getting moved off that top power play. I pick the Preds.
I'm going to go with St. Louis at this point.
You're just trying to be the contrarian, huh?
No, I'm not. But Bennington literally shut out the Tampa Bay Lightning the other day, or yesterday.
Fair.
And they showed that defense can lock down a team whenever they want. I just think that's a good thing for this team right now. If they can get Bennington going again, I think this team could easily beat them. If they play Jake Allen, well, they're fucked. But I think that they're definitely going to shut down this Predators team. Next, we have the Jets and the Senators, part of the Hockey Day in Canada thing. What's going on today?
Jets. The Senators can't handle Sharpley.
I'm going to go with the Sens because I think Duchesne's going to go off. And I think that Mark Stone and Duchesne have been playing unreal since they've been added to that same line there. Mm-hmm. And I think that Duchesne is just going to keep rolling. He's got 9 goals in his past 7 games, I believe. He's just rolling. I think he's going to keep it going. Okay. Stars and Coyotes.
Stars. Coyotes don't have enough firepower. I'm not sure about their goaltending lately.
Kemper hasn't been bad lately.
He hasn't been bad. I just don't think he's as good as Bishop is. And I feel like the Stars are going to hang on to that third or first wildcard spot, whatever it may be, and the Coyotes are out of it.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Stars are going to win this game. Sagan is really taken what the owner said to heart and is really taking over for this team. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to score another 2 goals in this game. I think he's going to add an assist as well, so he's going to have a 3-point game tomorrow. And I just think Arizona, we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, I think, about how they just can't score. They have, like, Keller still has 37 points. I'm pretty sure he had, 32 last time we talked about it. They haven't been able to get points. They're not playing as well as they should be. Mm-hmm. Should be, I say. And next we have your good old favorite team, Sharks versus Oilers.
I'm gonna go with Edmonton.
Why?
I think the win yesterday, they ended up getting scored on in the third, where it was 2-0. But they didn't flop. They got a power play goal right again. And the power play actually looked like a normal functioning power play that can score.
That's fair.
I think McDavid's a good leader. And I think he's going to inspire the boys to hopefully play a good game against them. They're not going to fold over. It's going to be hard to beat Carlson, Burns, and Vlasic on those 3 pairs.
I think Carlson's hurt. He didn't play last night.
Okay. Well, either way, that maybe might factor into Edmonton playing and winning. McDavid might be able to avoid a matchup with Burns. Is it in Edmonton or?
It's in Edmonton.
Okay. So we have control of the matchups. Hitch likes to chase that. Maybe he can get McDavid out there, not against Burns, or even if Carlson's playing, try to get him off of that matchup. Even then, they just have to attack the right side of the ice, or the left side. Oh, right side on the left defense. Go that side of the ice if they need to avoid Burns or Carlson on the other side, mauling them the whole time. I know I'm pissed off at them, but I think they're going to make a little push here. I can't doubt McDavid. He got 100 his second season, 108 last year. He's probably going to get over 108 this year if he goes supernova like he has. I just wish the boys would play inspired and just up their play level a bit. Him and Draisaitl and Nuge have been carrying this team this whole season. Despite their struggles, they're not out of it. Keep pushing. I think this will be a push. And if it isn't, then it's just inconsistency, and we're going to follow more of the picture than we are.
That was a biased pick for sure. Okay. I'm definitely going with the Sharks here. I think that hurdle line has been unbelievable. I watched the game last night against the Flames. That line is unreal. The way they've been forechecking, backchecking, the way they've been able to score, I think they've been unreal. I think Evander Kane's going to have a goal. I think Hurdle's going to have a goal and an assist. I think this team's going to go off. Martin Jones is bouncing back slowly. Of course, he always plays well in Calgary because he played for the Hitmen. But I think that San Jose is going to pull this game off. I think they just have too much firepower.
Fair enough.
Next, we have the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs.
I'm going to go with Montreal. They just beat Winnipeg yesterday, and apparently it was a really entertaining game. They are quick. And Domi and Drouin have been playing unreal. I actually think Montreal might make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
They're quick. They have Price. They have a good defense. Shea Weber has 10 goals. He's going to get 11. So, they're getting even productive. I saw a stat yesterday. Once Weber gets to his 10 goals or 11 or whatever it is, they're going to have 10 goal scorers or 10-plus goal scorers. That's good depth. They're doing it by committee, and they're all producing. I think Montreal wins this game against... And is it in Montreal? Or
it's in Montreal, yeah.
I think they win it. Toronto's playing well. They even got Muzzin, but, I don't know. Montreal's feeling hot of late, and if the price is in that, I don't know if they will beat them.
I agree with you. I think Montreal is going to win this game. I think Toronto is going... I think Toronto's struggling lately with their scoring. I know Matthews is slowly picking it up. I think he will have a goal in this game. But I think that Montreal, if Price plays, they're too good at this point. I think Carey Price is just carrying them at this point. Not really carrying them. They've been pretty balanced and quick. Next, I think it's the game of the night. I think the Penguins versus the Lightning is the game of the night, even though Malkin's not playing. Who do you got there?
Lightning.
I have Pittsburgh, and I think Crosby is going to carry them. In this
I
game.
counter your Crosby with a Kucherov. This sounds like we're playing Pokemon, but
does not sound like we're playing Pokemon.
Kucherov can be a Pokemon.
Whatever. I do love Kucherov. I think when he has his greatest games, he's going to get 4 points. He's the type of dude, when he gets hot, he can average 4 points a game. He's unbelievable. But I think Crosby and Ketzel.
If this is an even strength affair, I think Pittsburgh might win, or they might battle them to a win. If it goes on the power play for Tampa, you can't stop that unit.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they'll make their hay. Like I said, if the penalties are being taken, I see Tampa winning this. If it's an even strength battle, Crosby might pull through just because Crosby and Malkin is better than Stamkos and Point, in my opinion. Still, they might have better wings on Tampa, but you can never doubt Crosby and his winning ways aside. Something Stamkos hasn't won yet.
All right, so next game we have Panthers and Capitals.
I'm going to go with the Caps. Ovi is my boy. Netsov's going to pick it up here soon with even strength goal scoring.
Yeah.
He's only got like 2 or 3 or 4 on even strength goals this year. That power play, if the Panthers take penalties, that power play is going to be unstoppable. It still is. And I think Holtby's been playing better of late. They just snapped their January losing streak, whatever it was, at the end. And they're the Cup champs. You're telling me Obi skipped the All-Star game just for this reason. He's going to pick it up, and he's going to inspire the boys to pick it up again. He finally won, and now he's got a taste of what that's like. He's going to keep chasing that as long as he can. I
can see 2 goal performance from Ovechkin here. I'm going to take the Capitals here as well. I think that the Panthers are just going to keep falling. They've been on a landslide for the last year. I think they've just been crap this year.
I like the Panthers too, though. I like their roster and how they set up. But then again, like you said, they traded Bukestad, who had chemistry with Trocheck.
Mm-hmm.
They got Brassard.
And McCann scored in his first game for Pittsburgh yesterday.
So maybe they did flip those for Brassard and Sheahan. They might keep them. They might flip them for picks. We do know that they're going for Panarin and Bobrovsky. I don't know if it's this season or during the free agency period. We'll see. I like Panthers, but you got to choose the other team in this situation.
All right, next we have the Flames and the Canucks.
Gotta go with the Nucks.
I was going to go with the Nucks. You can't choose the same teams. This is bullshit.
Hey, I thought you were going with the Homer pick like I did.
No, I'm not going to go with the Homer.
Well, I'm going with the Nucks because it's in Vancouver or Calgary.
It's in Vancouver.
Pedersen's a god. I think they can stifle Gaudreau somehow.
I'm going with the Canucks because I think this first line is going to slow down. And I think they're not going to be as good as they're going to be. And then I think they're going to pick it up again in the playoffs come. But I think at the moment, this is what happens with Johnny Gaudreau. They go into the first half of the year. He plays unbelievable, makes the All-Star team, and then he starts to slow down a little bit. I think he's not going to score 100 points this year just because I think he's going to slow down. But I think the Canucks have Markstrom playing really well. They're at home here, and I think that they're going to be able to shut down this line. If Gaudreau scores 3 points, I'll eat some crow. But I will not doubt that Johnny will probably get a point in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Vancouver's going to win this game. I think they just have they're really motivated to make the playoffs here. And I think Calgary's going to not take them seriously.
Fair enough.
And finally, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas, baby! Columbus has fallen of late. The distractions around Panarin and Bobrovsky are too much, and they've been losing a lot. Vegas is a wagon. They will probably pick up somebody like Stone if they want to keep pushing. And they have prospects to give up, like Brandstrom or Cody Glass, if they need. I think Vegas wins this one handedly.
I think it's time for Karlsson to step it up a little bit here. I think he is.
William Karlsson?
Yeah, he's going to step it up here. I think he's going to start to play better like he did last year. I think he'll end up scoring 30 goals this year. I think he's going to step it up and start scoring some goals. Him and Marchessault, now that they're back together on that line.
I love Marchessault so much, the way he plays. He's so skilled for being that small.
I think that's just how that's going to work. I think they're going to score some goals again. I think they're going to win this game. I think Fleury is going to carry them.
I just like watching the Knights, too. They're fun to watch. They play with pace and tempo.
All right, it's not so much for that, but we just have one last little topic we want to talk about here, and that's the Super Bowl. And I know I have a little bit to say about it, but I'll let you talk about it first.
Boo! That was horrible. Even the ads were bad, too. Like, come on. Like, the Rams, they were the highest scoring team, weren't they, this year?
Yep.
Or at least one of them. And the fact that you can't muster a freaking touchdown against this Pats defense is, like, what? I guess this plays into the fact that Belichick and Brady are the GOATs, like we pondered on last podcast. You made that correct prediction. I didn't expect this to be such a low-scoring game. The fact that there's two field goals and one touchdown made the whole time. And that halftime performance was ass. I don't even want to talk about that. Like, what the hell?
All right.
You go.
So I'm going to make a challenge to every other NFL team that's not the Patriots. Just to beat the Patriots. Why haven't you guys gone on film? Why haven't you figured out Belichick's defense? I know he's unpredictable at times, but come on. Go watch his film. Go figure out what he does. Figure out this Pats team because they're not as unpredictable as you think. Their defense is pretty standard. Pretty standard, like man-to-man, basically. And, like, come on. You got to be able to figure that out and really carry it. Like, I know Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady, but I think you guys got to step up, or you got to really pressure that defense, which I don't think teams do. Like, they're good. If they're good with the rushing attack, you got to pass the ball. But I think you still have to have that mix, and I think they don't do good on running back passing, which I think the Rams should have took advantage of more. I think they should have played Gurley more.
Use them more, even though there's, like, injury concerns or whatever, speculation. They could have used Anderson, too. I don't know if he has an arm or not.
Yeah, like, they could have done trick plays. That's what Philadelphia did well when they beat them last year. They used trick plays. They used the running backs. They used everything they possibly could to get that win, and their defense was pretty decent as well.
It almost seems like McVay just lost all his creativity.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to McVay. He completely got out-coached. But I don't know. I think...
Did you see that gif of the Super Bowl trophy in front of him, and he has Belichick pulling it back from the sidelines?
Yeah.
That's basically what happened that game. Like you were saying, you play tighter man-to-man coverage on them or whatever it is. They got to get as close on that man-to-man coverage as Tom Brady was kissing fucking Robert Kraft.
Yeah, that was
something.
That was interesting. But I just think... I think this is the last time the Patriots win the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs are going to beat them next year. I said that in the last podcast. I think it's going to happen. The Chiefs are going to beat them next year, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. The Rams aren't done, though. They'll be back. I know they will be. They're not going to re-sign Ndamukong Suh, but I think they'll be back next year as well. But, yeah, I think that overall the Super Bowl was definitely one of the worst that I've seen. Defense was good, but that's not what we want in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You want
high scoring and just big plays. It was boring, man.
There was no pressure at the end. There was no suspense.
Yeah.
You kind of just knew they were gonna win, but there was 3 minutes left,
which I think you can attribute to Belichick knowing how to close out a game.
Yeah, but you gotta be able to make that game close if you're the Rams. For example, Jared Goff's interception throw was just god awful. You don't not throw a floater there. You throw a bullet.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that the Rams will be back. Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl next year.
Oh.
And...
With what, running back?
They'll find a way. I think if they can bring in Le'Veon Bell, that'd be pretty sick. But, yeah, I think that people just need to find a way to stop Tom Brady, and you'll be good. And I think Tom Brady will ride off into the sunset and just go away. Please, go away. I'm tired of your shit.
Fun fact, he's 6 out of 9 on Super Bowls.
Yeah, I know.
Nice. All right.
But yeah, he should just go away.
You want to close this off?
All right, so that is the Mike and Tyler podcast. we're going to start actually submitting these every Friday. We're going to submit one and make one on the same day. At least I'm going to try to, if I can do it. But
it will be on my SoundCloud after we record each time.
Yeah.
I just got to promote that better, so I'll put that on Twitter at Tyler Verloop, TYLERVERLOOP, and on my Instagram, t.verloop, on my Instagram story.
that was a massive plug for this stuff.
Humble plug.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening / watching. I know it's just a boring ass black background, but hey, thanks you guys for watching. See ya.
See ya.